Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yo, what's going on, nugget lovers? Welcome back to the internet. My name's Matt Pat, and on today's episode of Serial Spiller, I'm going to have a look at making a bicycle tubeless tyre inflator. I've made one before and it sucked. It was so much work and it was more expensive than ones I could buy in the store. Today I'm going to have a look at an emergency tubeless tyre inflator, something cheaper, something faster, and hopefully something more readily available. I'm going to be using a fire extinguisher. I hope this baby gets it done fast and super easy. So for the uninitiated of you, the issue lies with inflating bike tyres. Since they've gone from tubed tyres to tubeless, a normal pump has difficulty getting enough air in there to get the bead to seat. So when I connect this up, all the air simply bleeds out through the bead and just doesn't have enough expansive power to get that bead to seat against the rim. There are some cases where it'll work. You might get a little bit lucky with a little bit of finesse. I can massage this bead to sit on there and it might work, but typically what we use is a compressor or some sort of expansion chamber which has the ability to deliver a lot more air really quickly. It's possible to buy commercial devices to help seat tubeless tyres. I'm a cheapskate and I like a challenge, so I decided to make my own. I got some PVC tube, I capped it at one end, capped it at the other, and I actually did some really cool air fittings so that I can connect a hose to it and I can connect my pump and charge this chamber up. The problem with this is the working pressure is super low. I only feel comfortable pressurizing it to about 60 psi, and it just means it's not able to get enough air into the tyre super quickly to reliably seat it every single time. What we're doing today is taking pre-pressurized gas in the form of a fire extinguisher, and we're going to be discharging it into our tyre and rim, hopefully getting it to seat. The reason I really like the idea of a fire extinguisher as a tubeless tyre inflator is because its working pressure is 1000 kPa, which is about 150 psi. What that means is high pressure air stored inside the cylinder will travel through this hose and expand rapidly in the low pressure environment of the tyre and rim and allow that tyre to inflate quickly and seat on the rim. The alternative would be a high volume of low pressure gas, but that would require a really big hose and probably quite a large physical package. Alright guys, I'm super nervous about it. It's time to try this out. I've put the safety glasses on because I don't know what's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to work, but I just want to be safe anyway. Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It didn't work. That's disappointing. Let's have a look at the aftermath. You know what might have happened? It might have clogged this valve. Let's try this again. Take two, here we go. Well, that definitely didn't work. All right, now it's time to improve. All right, let's have a quick look at how much powder we put in here. It looks like we really filled it up with powder at least. So we know that the stuff was going in. So I never had the plan that this would be a one-shot attempt. I always had the vision that I would be able to use this repeatedly over and over and over again. So what I've gone and done is fitted a nipple in here, a T-piece, a Schrader fitting, which is the same as a normal car tyre fitting, and capped on the end. What I really wanted to do was use the standard fire extinguisher gauge, but I couldn't get it to mate with this T-piece. So I've just capped it, and this allows me to connect my pump and repressurize this cylinder to full working pressure, and I can use it over and over and over again. With the powder removed and these modifications made, it's time to see if I can use this to repeatedly seat my tubeless tyres. So here we go. I've got my fire extinguisher with the powder removed, pressurized to 1000 kPa, about 150 psi. I've got that connected up to my tyre and rim. This tyre is sitting on here. It's a standard tubeless tyre and it's not seated anywhere around here. Let's see if it works. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, I'd say that's pretty successful. It's not seated perfectly all the way around, but the beautiful thing about this system is now I can pump a little bit more air in here and pressurize that up completely to be able to get that to seat fully. You know what, let's run a few more tests and see if this is reliable. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. That's seated great. 3, 2, 1. So good! I'm really stoked with this. This is awesome. I'm real chuffed. Actually, just before we go, I thought, in the interest of completeness, we should test our road bike tubeless. 3, 2, 1. Ah, there you go. No dramas at all. Look at that. First go, no problems. Now, this size works super well for a road bike tyre. It works really well for a 27 by 2.4. I don't know how to go on a 29 by big wide volume or maybe even a fat bike tyre. I think this might be just a bit too small. I reckon if you're trying to inflate those, potentially something that's like a 2 kilogram or bigger fire extinguisher would work really well. But this works super well for my purposes. I'm really happy. Now, one of the things that came to mind is because in this system, normally there's a dip tube, and that's a tube like this that sits in here and dips from the top of the vessel down to the bottom, so that all the powder that's sitting at the bottom is pushed up with that pressurized air and comes out through the fire extinguisher. I think the problem that I had in that first test is the system clogged up with all that powder trying to get out. And I'm thinking that I should try a normal fire extinguisher without these modifications upside down so that the dip tube isn't trying to feed all the powder into the tyre. We'll try that next and we'll see if we can get a true emergency tyre inflator. Alright, nugget lovers from the internet, we're going to try this again. This time I've got an ABC powder type fire extinguisher. That means instead of pressurized to 1000 kPa, that's 1400 kPa, which is going to give us more pressure and more expansive power. The other thing that we're going to try is holding it upside down, so instead of the powder trying to come up the dip tube and out the system, this way I'm hoping that it'll minimize the powder that comes through the tube and instead is just the pressure that's inside here and hopefully inflates the tyre. Safety first. Tyre is off the rim, valve core has been removed. Let's arm the system. Oh man, I'm as nervous as I was last time. Alrighty. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. That worked! That worked a treat! Woohoo! Look at that! And that's inflated! That's awesome! Yeah! Woohoo! There you go guys, an emergency tubeless tyre seater and inflator. Woo! Well there you go nugget lovers, thank you for watching this episode of Serial Spiller. Do the thing, do the whatever, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. Stay tuned for more exciting radness on the internet.